Howdy ho! I was able to come on here real quick and make this video before the broadcast starts for the Kabbalah Center. So tonight is Shavuot, the grand finale at the end of our 49 days of the counting of the Omer. So this is a night for miracles, and the ritual act for this holiday is to stay up all night engaged with ritual and Torah. Before this, the reason why I'm sitting somewhere different is because I wanted to film in the garden, but it was raining, but I wanted to have that as my background because I was filming my first video for the Elizabeth Rose publication, Secret Teachings. So I'm just getting that fleshed out and almost ready to launch it. So I don't know whether it's so weird, like MailChimp is so much more direct about the order of the flow of building things, and Substack is very vague and figure it out as it happens. So I've got this first welcome video that basically lays the foundation of what this new kind of publication is all about, what we're going to do. But, and then there was some teaching in it as well. So I'm very excited. I'm figuring it all out. So it's not quite ready yet, but I will tell you guys when it is. So I'm excited. So that was important to me that I at least filmed that today because of the fact that it is Shavuot, that this is a day of miracles, and that the day of Shavuot is when we receive the Torah. And the whole thing about the new publication is that it's totally based on interpretation of Torah, scripture, the Gnostics, the lost books of the Bible, spiritual foundational teachings. So I'm super excited, and I think that this is the perfect timing, and I'm super pumped. So we're here real quick for our romance oracle message for the week. And as I was shuffling, 3 cards jumped out, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take these. So first we have the Queen. We have woman, fertility, feminine power, sexuality, and friendships. Now, what I think is so magnificent about this is that the Torah is the queen. The Torah is the bride. The Torah is the bride of God, the divine feminine that's coming down to meet us, to unite with us, to unite with God and give birth to the Christ consciousness that would come through time, right? So I love that. So for the romantic context, I feel like this is about finding a new sense of deep empowerment and comfort within our own skin, comfort in who we are, and a solidness and an anchoredness within ourselves, and a trust in our own sense of inner judgment and intuition, and a sovereignty over our energy and our resources and our attention and our emotions. We're not getting yanked around by anybody coming in and out of our life trying to disrupt our inner connection with our Creator and our higher self. So I think that this is when we are truly rooted in who we are and in our values and what we want with our love life, then we can be at peace and have a gentle strength, confident and at ease in communicating our needs and our feelings and our standards. And I think that gives us a lot of magnetic power to then activate the sharing force of the universe, of the light, of the Creator, to send to the vessel that partnership, right? When we are the queen, we are seated in our throne. We have our own identity, our own sovereignty, and therefore we can lead side by side with someone else who's also in their sovereign self as well. So I love that. And I think that we're also like reaching another level of self-worth and a sense of deservingness that is also opening up our ability to receive, right? Because think about a queen. She's not running out and pandering and asking people to validate her and go and like putting herself through hell and back to people please, is she? She does not reach for a thing. The queen receives what someone gives to her, right? So she's never chasing after for something. She's never reaching for something. She's never demonstrating lack. She is only demonstrating wholeness and fullness and completion, and she will receive what is offered to her, what is presented in offering, right? So the same with God. God never is like coercively trying to get us to give God anything. We have complete free will, right? So be the queen, have need for nothing. We have no scarcity. We have no lack within us. There is no gap, no space. I'm completely fulfilled between myself and my sovereign relationship with my creator. And I'm so fulfilled in that yes, I do have a deep desire for a partner, but that gives me the freedom that I can leave the wrong situation if I need to, because no one owns me, no one controls me, right? I don't give my power away or put that person up on a pedestal or make them my idol or my God, because I have an authority and a sovereign that is over me, higher than that individual. And so I think that gives us a healthy footing in a relationship, because there's no sense of desperation, there's no sense of fear. There's a sense of complete interdependence and the freedom to walk away, which makes your love all that more authentic, because you're there by choice, not because you're a prisoner. And that's gender neutral there. You can be an emotional prisoner to anyone. All right, focus. What are we focused on? Focus on the path, right? Focus on being in alignment with the path, with the divine path, and then it will open up to these broad open vistas. See, this quality of the forest here is open, and it's not dense and constrictive. It's not when the days are hot, like a sunny day like this, and you're in the thick of the forest, it's stagnant. Like you're not getting the wind in some places because the vegetation is so thick, right? But you're getting the wind here. The light is coming in. It's open. You can see further ahead when you're on this path, when you're focused. So what are you focused on? Are you focused on what's not there, or are you focused about the possibilities that could be coming up around the corner, right? So we can focus on the lack of what we consider to be ideal conditions in dating or in love or in the gender that we're interested in, the individual, whoever we're interested in dating or whoever we're interested in having a relationship with. We can have these assumptions about how it's going to go because of our former experience and our lived experience. And it's good to draw wisdom from that and learn to see certain red flags that we've learned to identify because of those experiences, and we've sharpened our discernment. But we don't have to assume that everything's just always going to be like that, that there was a pattern for a while for a reason to show you certain things, but that doesn't necessarily mean that pattern is going to continue. But it does mean now that you're equipped to recognize it when it shows up. And it's not a reflection necessarily of your lack. It's just that we live in a world with all kinds of people that are all very special. And so it's good to be able, when you're a shining light, you're going to be magnetic. When you're radiating love, you're going to be magnetic. And it's just like a light bulb. Life form is just drawn to light. And it's like a light bulb. You can't discern what bugs are attracted to your porch light. It would be great if they were all Luna moths and beautiful specimens of exotic insects that were lovely. But usually it's those big, clumsy June bugs and beetles and the undesirable bugs that you're trying to run past. You're like, swarming around you, right? And that's the same for being out in life. Our vibration is going to attract a lot of what we continue to experience, but also generally, the more light you shine, the more people are generally just going to hone in on you. So you have to sharpen those tools to recognize. But also, what are you focused on? Are you focused on people's like positive qualities in people and attractive things that you're looking for? Or are you thinking, these men, these women, they're awful. These non-binaries, like you can never win with the one. It's like no one's winning and everyone's winning, right? We all have the same struggle. And yet, if we focus on what we want to build and what we want, we're going to attract more of what we want. But if we focus on what we don't want and focus too much on venting about the struggle, then we're going to attract examples of what we don't want, because what we have our consciousness on grows. So what we focus on grows. So remain focused. And also so if you meet someone who strikes your fancy, that is when the true test occurs, because that is when you need to practice focus to stay in your sovereignty. It's very easy to be in your sovereignty when you're not attracted to anyone, or if the person you're attracted to is doing all the right things and their timing is just right and they don't leave you in that weird limbo. But wait till the first time that they don't answer you back as quick as they used to, or, those little classic things that give you that first little seed of doubt, those little foxes that spoil the vines, those are the moments where you have to check, am I getting like anxiety? Like, am I getting anxious attachment right now? Like, okay, I need to stay in my sovereign. I need to put my focus back on things that add value to me as a person and to my world around me. How I can go add value to someone else, or I can increase my own value, but I'm not going to obsess, right? I'm not going to get thrown off course or become neurotic, because then that's the first sign that you're getting off your throne, that you're putting someone on that pedestal and allowing them to throw your energy way off and on, right? It's not to say you don't have feelings or emotions or get excited or whatever, but when you start to get to that little point of like, okay, like you're not in the driver's seat, and the more we see that about ourselves and we're the most honest about it, then we have more control over our energy, our attention, our focus, right? This has been a big lesson for me as a Libra rising sign and a Cancer moon and an Aries sun sign. So it's like I'm a very passionate, relationship oriented, deeply feeling person. So it can be very easy. Like, I've had to work my whole life not to get caught up in limerence and obsession and ruminating. And this has only been concepts that, I've had to gradually learn them over decades, right? So I think now I'm hitting a place where it's like relationships aren't really my preoccupation at all. So I think I'm recovering, but the real test will be if I meet someone that I really like, if they I don't know, to see how it plays out when there's something like some skin in the game again. I've dated people who I feel like I did really well at maintaining emotional sobriety in ways, with also giving in to liking them and maintaining a balance. So we'll see how that was even a couple of years ago. So we'll see how that develops further. But the point being is that we grow over time, and our muscles grow stronger in those areas. Even if you are a hopeless Aries, Libra, Cancer, you can build sovereignty. You can hold your throne. Because I was always also that person who was wanting to accommodate others all the time. Like, wanting to make people happy and being not actually communicating my needs from a place of, confidence or security or ease, or not at all. And I was non-confrontational. And so I've really turned the script on all those things. So it's interesting. It's a journey though. And it took a long time. And it took a lot of difficult relationships, not a lot, but a few. But you just can't give up on yourself. And you always have to work on, the constant process of becoming. Like, I could be a very sour, pessimistic person, much more so than I am, but I'm not. I still have a lot of optimism, and I still believe that I have a match made in heaven, who's going to be the perfect friction and support. So I have perfect confidence, but it's been a journey getting to a place where I'm confident that I know myself now so much, and I love myself so much now, that I will not blend into someone else again. I won't self-abandon, but it is a practice, because you have to put on that crown consciously, and wear that, and have that on your mind, you know, that awareness of maintaining your own consciousness and not just losing yourself in someone else's personality. All right. Yeah. Focus on, you know, being aware of whatever your patterns are that come up. We have a variety of things, you know, so, the wind fairy, thoughts, words, intellectual analysis. And Uranus, Gemini, Uranus just entered Gemini, right? So that is a revolution of the mind, an intellectual and conscious liberation is happening right now on another level. So I think that the way that we perceive things and the way that we think of things and think about things is changed. And I think that the way that we are able to communicate our feelings and thoughts, and how we are approaching not only the story we tell ourselves, but how we're approaching the story that we verbalize to others. And I think that we're learning how to take more ownership of it and not project that as truth at someone, but rather understand that, like, okay, this is the interpretation that I'm drawing from my experience over here, and this is the story I'm telling myself. And this is my experience of this, and I need to communicate this to you because, like, I have this need and I'm feeling triggered now. And like, it's like you own the thing instead of saying, well, you do this, and when you do this, it makes me feel this way. And it's just like you're then spewing all of this judgment about implied, like, and you might be right, but the way that it's like you're communicating it to the person is causing them to completely shut down and become defensive. Whereas if you can communicate, like, I am, within this experience, this is what I'm telling myself here, and this is how I'm feeling about this. And, I know I'm triggered, and I know this has to do with my stuff over here about the past, or maybe the person is legitimately behaving in such a way. But I think it's, you start to own your side of it, and it's not just all, when you do this, it makes me this. And it's basically like you're saying this and this and this. So it's about being able to convey an even more powerful truth from a gentler strength, and have it actually transform the scenario and the relationship rather than create more damage in the process. And that takes practice, and it takes a lot of emotional sovereignty, because when things get heated, and when we're triggered and our emotions are triggered and our ego is triggered, it's like that's when we become panicked and lash out, and our nervous system crashes, and we don't have that logical control, that self-control anymore, to remember that, like, what you say you can't unsay, right? So I think that we're having a shift in our perspective, in our beliefs and our thoughts and our ideas, and the way that we understand and communicate that with one another, and the way that we relate is all evolving right now. So I'm very excited about that. And I gotta hurry because all of the broadcasts are about to start. I need to go take a ceremonial shower. And oh my God, the end of this, we have the king here. The couple has been brought together from both of their journeys on the path, and thoughts, words, and intellectual analysis along the process. So I love this is bookended with the couple being brought together. This is amazing. And this isn't even like a romance deck. It's just it's like a King Arthur kind of theme deck. That's amazing. So man, authority, male sexuality, things pertaining to the law and justice. So again, the precepts of the Torah coming through on Shavuot, the king, the God, the Father being brought together with the bride, the Torah. This is amazing. And the intellect, the words, this is like the Shina, the Torah being spoken to the people, the spirit of that union being brought forth. And that's what connects us along the path. The path was the journey through the wilderness, the 49 days from the splitting of the Red Sea to Mount Sinai. So what an exciting reading with so many layers. I love it. What a goodie. Well, all right, y'all, I'm going to go get ready for the broadcast to start and for the rituals to commence. But as always, peace be with you. Ciao.